Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Play the Hits. Nick, summer's almost over and we're still stuck in this damn city.
Yeah, you're right. Which I guess is good because I like this city.
Really?
You will?
In that case. Huh?
Oh, what did we promise to do? It's oh, fuck me. Oh, god damn it.
Remember how you were saying that the church felt a little too much like the Advent Children iteration?
Oh god.
Pretty cool. Huh?
I forgot what we were playing for a minute.
Soldier. Ex-soldier.
You know, in the original game, this scene was very methodical. It introduced the Turks, it introduced Eris, and it kind of was a moment of reprieve after an epic battle, and it kind of gave you a little bit more world building. Here, we're gonna fight one of the recurring bosses, you know, before he even has a chance to introduce himself.
But it'll cost
Do you remember when Reno delivered a humorous one-liner before he pushed the button to kill everybody in District 7?
Yep. Oh, that
I just
doesn't
want
go
to point
anywhere.
this out again.
What class?
I like how,
First.
because he's sort of a fan favorite character, Square Enix has kind of retconned him into sort of a lovable loser sort of character, but
It's almost like we have to boil everything down into a generic, inoffensive soup.
right. He at the same time though, he seems to have zero qualms about killing numerous amounts of people in order to cash a paycheck.
You better.
Neither is Cloud, so I guess those guys got back up, but they're right back down. So
Yep, they're not doing okay.
Hey, little help in here, guys.
How the fuck did he get up there? Oh, there's more.
oh, okay, that makes some sense.
It was about not to be, but yeah, come on, guys.
His face. Hardly knew you. Hate doing cleanup.
So, despite the fact that I actually hate thematically what this boss fight does, it's actually a pretty decent boss fight. The mechanics itself are fun because it's not like if you try to hack and slash him, he'll generally just counter everything you do with that.
Wasn't there like a really good boss fight before this?
Yes. Like I said, this game has no shortage of good boss fights, but this
Generally,
one just doesn't
sometimes they
quite
space
do
those
it.
things out, you know?
Yeah.
What you waiting for, bodyguard? I'm right here.
Oh.
Come on, tough guy.
Boy, this game reminds me. Are you not excited for Final Fantasy?
Oops.
What Final Fantasy Chaos Theory or whatever it is?
Chaos Theory. We've never played a Splinter Cell game on this channel.
Huh?
We've never played a Splinter Cell game on this channel.
It's hard to find a good Splinter Cell game, though.
Well, Chaos Theory was pretty darn good.
Usually the best ones have the worst controls.
This dance of ours could use a spark.
The one that I really liked, if we do one on this channel, it will be, I cannot, shit. This isn't a good look for it because I can't remember its name. But, crap. It's the one where he goes rogue, where you don't have access to like all of your usual Splinter Cell gear.
I don't know the name, but it's the fourth game, isn't it?
Yeah, I think you're right.
That's the game where the plot revolves around killing the president so a big CEO can become the president.
No, it's not that one. It's crap. What is it called?
Rogue Agent?
No, Forsaken or something like that. Splinter Cell.
It is absolutely not Forsaken.
Splinter Cell Invicted, or I don't know. It's one of those kind of titles, which belies the actual cleverness of the gameplay itself, because it's basically an extended version of the Manhunt parts of the Arkham series, where you actually are forced to go stealth. Except the whole game is that. It's clever ways to take down rooms full of enemies without actually getting shot.
Oh no. Is that made by the same company that makes the Batman games?
No, I don't think so. Well, it is Ubisoft, and Ubisoft technically owns Rocksteady. It's clearly inspired by them, or who knows, maybe the Arkham games were inspired by this. I can't remember which came out first, but It may be
fine.
conviction.
Go get the girl.
Did you say conviction?
Sir.
Splinter Cell, Pandora, Tomorrow, Chaos Theory, Essentials, Double Agent, Conviction.
Conviction.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, Conviction I thought was the best one precisely because it kind of veered away from the, like, over-reliance. So like in the early days of the series, it kind of like tried to out Metal Gear. And this is kind of the first one where I really felt like it was completely doing its own thing.
Well, it was trying to find its footing.
Yeah. And that's not to say that the first couple iterations were good. They actually did stealth gameplay a lot more technically impressively than, yeah, these assholes are here again.
I
Than Metal Gear.
thoroughly enjoyed Pandora Theory. I've already
Pandora
screwed it
Theory.
up. Pandora Chaos
Well, see,
Theory.
now, so sidetrack. Now we've established part of the problem with the Tom Clancy franchises, which is that after the 6th or 7th entry, everything just starts to fucking run together.
It does, and I guess it doesn't matter because the perfect Splinter Cell game has already been made, and it was called Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
right. Well,
I
that's
mean,
kind of funny because Metal Gear Solid 5 is a lot more like Splinter Cell Conviction, which is kind of funny. It really went out
the
of its
best
way
elements of it, yeah.
yeah, to take cues from the series that it inspired.
Oh, man.
Hey, you okay?
So I like how this part's kind of the same, but you just have these floating, lumbering assholes all over the place.
You're done.
They look
Sir.
too phallic. I'm sorry.
I don't know
mean,
what they look like, but they're stupid, and I hate them. Was that line from Futurama? Tell them I hate them.
Run.
The Chunga Wungas.
Move it, I'll shoot.
Chumbawamba.
Chumbawamba. Well, anytime you do a parody name of Oompa Loompa, it's always going to sound a little...
Could drop that.
Could drop that on that guy who's just standing there instead of doing what he's supposed to be doing.
Why doesn't Cloud just jump down and murder him? Because that's basically what he's been doing this whole time,
I know, right? Did we just suddenly forget that Cloud can jump 15 feet into the air and rain down like a
No, he needs
humongous
to do
slab
this
of
'cause
metal
it
on
takes
people?
like 10 times longer.
But, you're right. Another problem with this
Run.
iteration, it kind of goes from there are stakes to there are absolutely no stakes.
Right. Well, it's a whole big case of being bipolar. Like I said, you've got one really good plot, and then you got this just getting in the way of it.
Yep.
You could take out that whole unnecessary overstuffed subplot and be just fine.
Absolutely, but they won't.
Just because you try to shove a bunch of stuff into your story does not
Oh, for God's sake.
make it smarter. Oh no! I gotta go over there.
Good thing Cloud is invincible. Why is he
And I
doing this?
guess-
He doesn't have to be doing this.
He's got like Ezio fingertips.
I know, right? I mean, never mind that he is being just riddled with bullets this entire time. He doesn't seem to feel a thing.
You know, say what I will about the Batman games, I appreciated that when Batman took a shotgun to the face, he usually died.
Usually. Not always.
Usually, but yeah, well, yeah.
There was that
If he
one time
didn't.
I zip-lined right into a sniper. I failed to
Right,
plant
right.
the kick into his face, and he shot me in the chest, at which point Batman proceeded to deliver a
Beat him to
savage
death with
beatdown
his
to him.
own rifle. Now you know how weak women are.
Well, and again, this isn't consistent with anything that we've seen Cloud do. This man can cut skyscraper beams in half with his Buster Sword here, but he can't. It takes him 25 seconds to move a dresser.
This is the slowest freaking chase I've ever seen. This makes the Archives chase from GoldenEye the movie look like a freaking masterpiece.
But sir,
Yeah, like I said, this is one of those scenes where it really
are out.
kind of lost the spirit of the original.
Beginner's luck.
And it's entirely because of the stupid...
That scene was just so flaccid.
It's like they're
Yeah.
guiding us.
Stay close.
But now, after these
So cool.
buttholes disappear again, it goes right back to being good. So, I wonder what the common thread here is.
Completely unrelated note. When is Dune supposed to release?
October, November, sometime in there. You are coming for that. Yes, we're doing a home theater experience.
Oh, I'm promised to no less than I think 7 people at this point, so I'm sure you're on that list.
All right. I am doing the unthinkable for you, which is renewing a subscription to HBO Max.
Oh, well, even if we can't watch that, we can at least watch Godzilla punch an ape for 90 minutes.
Wait, is that back on HBO Max? I missed it its first run.
I can't remember if it's on again or if it was on for one day.
Right by it.
It was on for a month. What they do is with new releases, they put them on there for a month, and then they take them off to try to get you to buy the damn DVD.
Yes, it is back on HBO Max.
Oh, it is back? Okay. All right.
Yes.
That'd be worthwhile.
Bodyguard work.
Right.
But yeah, definitely want to catch Dune. You know, this last year of seeing new releases of movies in my home instead of theaters has spoiled me to the extent where if a movie is only in theaters, I pretty much won't watch it.
What's a
Kind of nice, you know? You can stop it when you want.
Yeah. No jackasses like talking through it. No COVID. It is nice.
Called in to handle all kinds of situations. With extreme
and you know, I've spent just enough money on my home theater setup that I really feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it when I watch, you know,
I bet it's
new movies or quality movies.
He thought I could be the greatest soldier yet.
Like, for instance, one of the interesting ones for me was, and I'm sure I've told you about this before, but when I had that month of HBO Max, I watched both of the oh, come on, Chris. Not Cyberpunk. Help me out here. Cyberpunk ripped everything that it owns off of it. Blade Runner. I watched both of the Blade Runner movies.
Okay, I was gonna say that jogged my memory.
Yeah. And, you know, I'd seen them many times before, but never in theaters. And certainly never with, like, surround sound and, like...
Well, technically, Cyberpunk ripped off the Neuromancer, which was ripped off by Blade Runner, but... Which
also inspired Blade Runner, yeah. But, you know, I'd never seen them with Dolby digital video quality and surround sound, so it was kind of nice. Again, we've watched these people, like, leap off of exploding skyscrapers, and...
We need to establish her vulnerability as a woman.
I guess so.
Don't just run off on your own.
Run off on my own, gotcha.
Those the words of a soldier candidate?
So petty.
But again, once this slows down again and actually just focuses on, like, the core characters and the world building, it's a wonderful little game. It just keeps on insisting on the fucking Sephiroth, the Nightwing creatures, whatever they're called. Not Organization 13 from Kingdom Hearts, whatever they are.
No one to get mad if we make noise.
Whatever the AAA budget told him needed put in, I guess.
Yep. And you know, you can clearly tell that, like, everything wrong with this game was a business decision. Like, they couldn't fit all of the original concept of FF7 onto one modern open world experience, which is understandable. You know, release it as 2 or 3 games. But then they went for, okay, so we'll compensate by fleshing this section out into a full 40-hour game. But it seems like the only way that they could think to do that was by adding all of this just unnecessary garbage to the plot, which, again, FF7's strength in the first place was never its plot.
I thought about leaving once.
What was FF7's strength?
The fact that it was in 3D, and I would very much say its setting.
Well, I mean, not being snarky, I mean, because it seemed to do a lot of things, none of them excellent, but there was always something going on. You know, either you're playing a tower defense game, or
I loved its minigames.
Digging for bones, or I mean,
digging for bones.
There was stuff going on in that game.
Something greater.
And, you know, a lot of that was just, you know, we're on an entirely new platform with entirely new technology. Let's just let our imaginations run wild, and that was fun. There was a lot of fun to FF7, even if all of it didn't necessarily
This time I'll
connect.
go first. After all, I can't.
But
count on
in
you.
this, like a lot
Which
of
is
the,
weird because they
Sure
were
about this?
probably told
See for
shove
yourself.
these things in the game
Oh, sure.
that don't need to be there,
right.
and yet
Maybe I'll go on
somehow
ahead and
it
leave you
works.
all by
Yeah.
your lonesome.
Why would we
as
want a tower
opposed to this,
defense in
where
this
like
game?
Maybe you
instead of like
shouldn't
fun,
talk.
like little quirky one-off mini games and stuff like that, we get again these Organization 13 blatant rip-offs of Kingdom Hearts things, and it
Not
just
the
doesn't fit.
Cheapskate. You're.
That was weird.
Yeah, I know, I couldn't get on the pipe. She's fine. Don't help her, Cloud.
Gotcha.
You're killing me here.
You're right, though. The voice actress for Aerith is very well done.
Yeah, she
Here
earned a
goes
paycheck.
Oh, so much tetanus.
I want to see someone Photoshop in the giant penguin from Mario 64 in that scene.
Right. That should have been a mini game here. Penguin racing.
You want to race, little penguin? No, I want to find my mom. No, you want to race. Come on, let's slide down this ramp, little penguin.
Of course.
Oh man. Hey, so did you see that Dead Space is getting a remaster finally?
I did, and I'm hoping it doesn't suck.
hero.
Dead Space was one of those
Never
games
go
where it's like,
wrong with you.
this is a really good idea.
Yeah.
Is that a compliment?
It was a lot like Resident Evil 7. It was nice and
Not really.
grounded and worked in the world and the rules that
Thanks
it
anyway.
established
Yep.
until it hit about the halfway point. Which
Yeah.
is
Once you
fine.
got the Ripper, the horror elements kind of
We're getting
ceased.
closer
I've
to the
said that
station.
before. I know.
Well, right, same thing like by the time you killed Jack in Resident Evil 7.
Yeah, you
the
were the
game-
hunter, not the hunted.
Right. Well, I'd say after Marguerite.
Yeah.
You know, when the game starts turning into a shooting gallery, which
Yeah.
is fine.
Which, you know, any horror action game eventually is pretty much going to hit that plateau because, you know, they
And
have
it's
to
whether
keep,
or not you want to embrace that.
right.
Which
They
7
have to
did.
keep giving you new ways to kill enemies, or the game becomes stagnant. The problem is once you get to a certain level of power, again, just even in the best horror games, you eventually become desensitized. And that's not necessarily a fault of the game. That's just video games in general. When you get into the swing of things and you know what to expect and how to deal with all of these like horrifying enemies, they lose their edge. That's just human nature.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
You sound.
But from what I've
Oh,
seen, from
I'm
what
trying to
little,
remember if Resident Evil, if Dead Space still has EA's dirty claws sunk into it.
I think so. But
Yeah.
from what little they've actually revealed of it, it is pretty much a straight port. They're just imagining like what it could look like
Station's there.
on modern technology. So like crank the atmosphere up to 11 and leave the gameplay alone.
Yeah, which would work just fine, I think.
And like the whole thing that it did on the PS3, which was so unique, was, you know, the ability of the hardware to detect like minute hits of your gun and like dismember the enemies appropriately. They're also further developing that system.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because that was neat, because it wasn't just aim for the head. It was,
Right.
oh, well, this is new. What do I do here?
Uh-huh. Like I can save some major ammo if I just like cut his legs off and move on.
They know that.
Right, exactly. Those were neat concepts.
Yeah.
and, yeah.
And with, of course, with PS5 and modern PCs, you have the option to take that even further.
Well, there were also some interesting ideas behind that series until EA needed to turn into a cash cow. I know 3 tried to do some interesting things with themes of dementia.
Oh, really? Wasn't
Yeah, like,
that
for
the one where it was
example,
like a
like-
co-op looter shooter sort of thing, though?
Yes, but what they wanted to do was make it so that things would only happen on one person's side of the play
Oh.
as opposed to someone else's. So you'd be like,
That's
hey,
creative.
watch out for that thing over there. And they're like, what thing? There's nothing there. No, I'm looking right at it. There's
Yeah.
nothing there.
That could be interesting. So you're kind of playing with and against your partner. That's sort of cool. I like that.
Yeah, but like I said, unfortunately, it never really got to be fully fleshed
Yeah.
out and free. But
A real man on a
but who
mission.
knows? I mean, maybe they'll
the
basically
hunt
just say,
for,
"Hey,
like-
here's this
For me?
property.
For
Go
you."
ahead and do stuff with it, and
Don't know.
you know, step
care.
back."
Mm-hmm. I
Then
hope so.
Let's stick to the
You
back
just
streets.
reminded me though of something that I really want to play on
There
this
will be monsters.
channel when we get a chance. If we just have like some
Better than Shinra.
downtime and we're looking for something just like absurd and fun to play. Have you ever seen it's like Super Bunny Boys or Super Bunny Bros or something like that?
I'm thinking of like 3 possible games.
It's a co-op game.
There's a
You
Shinra
play as
dump
2
site
guys
up
dressed in
ahead.
bunny
Not the kind of
suits.
place
One of you is
anyone
yellow,
would
one of you is
choose to
pink.
hang around.
And you basically just have to like
Great place to lay
manipulate
low.
the physics and get through these series. There's no story to it whatsoever. It's just hilarious, like
No
survive
telling
each
where
other
they come
and
from.
get to the end of each
Monsters
course.
instinctively
Madness.
Target weaker prey.
You'd better watch out then, Cloud.
I saw a
Whatever
video
it
like
is, it ain't-
preview of
whatever
it
it
a
is,
while
it-
ago, and I was like, wow, that looks like a freaking riot.
That way is a dead end. They
Oh,
could
okay,
use
'cause
some
I looked up the wrong
construction,
thing.
But quit halfway.
You'll know it when you see it. Like really simplistic, childish graphics. but-
I'm looking it up, but the only thing I can find is all these wannabe YouTubers trying to be famous off of playing it.
Oh, is it one of those?
I mean,
It's
you
probably
know,
been enough years where we're not exactly going to be trying to capitalize on anything. It's just, I just thought it looked really funny. We should do it.
oh yeah. No, there's a valid point there.
It's like $15 on Steam, which isn't bad, but it's also one of those games that you know just has to go on sale every time a fall sale rolls around, which it should be here shortly.
Oh
on,
yeah,
Cloud.
because it is October.
Yeah, we've got to start thinking of titles for Spoopy October, actually.
That didn't work.
Well,
Maybe
I am
it's
assuming a
broken.
lot of that will be
Pretty sure this path we're on loops
consumed with
around
whoever
too,
plays Resident
so-
Evil 8.
Yes, that almost seems like a no-brainer.
Wonder if we can
Though,
move
like
this.
you, I've heard and seen so much of it just being kind of a generic action game that I'm a little bit hesitant, but I'm sure there's fun to be had there.
But there's plenty of things we can do, even if we don't go down that route. I've got a closet full of horror games.
Another one, we were just talking about co-op. I'd really like to see if there would be a way to get you, me, and Max together to play Phasmophobia. Phantasmophobia? Something like that.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about that.
Yeah, that was another one that last year really took off, like, with a whole bunch of, like, live streamers and YouTubers. But again, it's been a year, so
Figure.
'Cause they wait
it's
for
it's
the
not
storm
like
to
we're
clear.
trying to steal anyone's thunder or
It's
hoping to
still
get famous.
overwhelmingly positive on Steam right now. So
Yeah. And I think
Speaking-
they keep updating. It's one of those games that I think it's technically early access, which means that they're
constantly in
constantly updating it.
development.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So whatever rough patches there were last year are probably dealt with, so we should get a primo experience. Or at least a
Right.
more primo experience. But yeah,
Speaking
I
of,
like the whole concept
things
of
on
like...
Steam.
Say that again?
I was gonna say, speaking of things on Steam, Bravely Default 2
Yeah.
is apparently on Steam.
Yeah, it just came out of the blue.
Is that any good?
Yeah, I have it on the Switch, and I really liked it. I don't have a whole lot to say beyond that. It's a solid SNES era RPG wrapped in, basically GameCube
There,
style
check it out.
trappings.
The heart of the
Well, no wonder
slums.
I'm confused because
Fair ways off.
only
Well, we
Bravely
did take a
Default 2.
detour.
Do you have to play one to
Getting
make any
tired?
sense of 2?
No, it's like Final Fantasy, where it shares themes, but the story is completely removed.
How about you?
Okay, good. I'll take that. I'll
Amazed.
probably end up picking this up.
You're
Then.
Yeah,
in for a
it's
treat
good.
when
I
you
recommend
get
it.
Don't have time. For
If
that.
you like
You'll wanna
classic,
make time for
job
mine.
class FF5 style
Final
gameplay, you'll
word
enjoy
on
it.
We'll get home quick and eat ourselves stupid.
Eat ourselves stupid, you say.
That is the weirdest thing I've heard all day.
Syntax and punctuation are very important in that sentence, We're gonna eat
Yes.
ourselves, comma, stupid. Now help your Uncle Jack off this horse.
Go play catch with your brother.
Right?
You're dead. It's over.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you buy Bravely Default, you don't want to accidentally buy its Chinese
Nothing to it.
knockoff Final Bravery.
Final Bravery. Excellent. Actually, I kind of do want to buy that game.
I just want to check and make sure I've got Bravely Default wishlisted. Okay, there we go.
Gotcha. Oh, you know another one that would be just the next time once we finish up with FF7 and enough time goes by where we want to do like a full-on RPG again. Remind me, did you ever play Saga Frontier on the PS1?
Oh god. I've seen it. As I understand it, all of its storylines and characters don't link up at the end, which is kind of a big detriment for me.
No, they kind of do.
They kind of do. See, I've
Yeah.
always been told by people they don't.
No,
really,
that's not true. So, I mean, certain characters largely get left out, but no, there is a common ending. It's not going to be anything like, you know, for instance, Mass Effect, where everything is interconnected. It's that was too ambitious for the PS1 era, but you do get like 7 or 8. Well, I guess they've added a new character. Really solid stories, and then at the end, some things do mesh depending on which character you choose as your main.
I think Octopath Traveler, everything kind of syncs up at the end.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
Octopath Traveler does that really well.
Yeah, that's,
the
that's
only-
kind of why I figured I'd probably play that before I ever played Saga Frontier. I just don't have
Maybe it opens
a
from this
million
side?
hours to
Right.
play every iteration of a JRPG anymore.
Octopath was great. The only beef that I had with that is that whereas, like, for instance, Saga Frontier contained, you know, 7 like relatively decent kind of like bite-sized adventures. Octopath has you like lumbering around for chapter after chapter, pursuing like individual threads, like probably close to 40 to 50 hours before anything starts to sync up in a meaningful way. When it does, it's really cool. But I almost feel like they could have, you know, knocked off maybe like a quarter of the build-up,
What to do?
and the game would not have suffered for it at all.
Maybe there's a way to get over it?
But overall, that was a really good one, too. I'd say between Bravely Default 2 and Octopath Traveler, maybe slight edge to Octopath, but neither is going to be a waste of your time.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. They've been out long enough to where you get a general consensus on them.
Yeah. But yeah, no, Saga Frontier is just an old darling of mine, and more to the point, Saga Frontier 2 on the PS1 was just for the longest time that game was like my white whale. I rented it once in like the late 90s, early 2000s, and I got like super into it for an entire weekend, and then I tried to rent it again, and someone must have like destroyed the disc or something because it just wasn't there. And then like seasons passed, and I kept thinking, okay, I'm eventually just gonna buy it, or like if I ever find a copy of it used in a game store. I never did. And then, you know, one year I was 30 or 31 years old and just decided, why has it been 20 years since I played this game that I really wanted to play? And so I just bought it off Amazon and finally gave it a real play. It was such a surreal experience because like I had it was almost like one of those things where like my life had just been postmarked between like the time that I first played that game and then just me repeatedly saying to myself for close to 2 decades that, yeah, I'm going to give this a play soon. That's my next big project. I'm going to give it a play for 20 freaking years. And then I finally did it.
Well, that was one of those harder games to get your hands on, like
It
Final
was.
Fantasy
It did not light
Tactics.
the states on fire. No.
What are they watching?
Hey,
So we've arrived at Eris's home sector here. And I'm going to keep calling her Eris because Aerith just sounds stupid to me.
Oh, who cares?
Yeah.
Who cares? It's not like words get Anglicanized all the time.
Right, yeah. But anywho, so this part is another one of those deviations where you can spend the next like 2 or 3 hours doing side quests, but because this is just a story playthrough and because I want to leave some stuff for you if you ever give this a playthrough, we're not going to do any of that. We're just going to hit the main story beats and move along.
It's possible this might end up on Steam one day.
Oh yeah, I would say without question. It's also been
I'm
out for...
surprised at the amount of PS exclusives that have been making it to Steam.
Yeah. Well, what happens there is that they're timed exclusives. So like Nintendo or Sony will have like a year or 2 years where you can only get them on their consoles, and then once that's up, they've got the Steam port locked and ready to go.
Don't know if that's 100% correct, because a lot of this is like older games from 5 or 6 years ago that I don't think timed exclusivity was in the original contracts. I think money was exchanged. They're just like, hey, if you don't have a formal arrangement, let's port this to this platform. And they're like, well, this isn't making any more money on the current platform, so sure.
Nick, do you feel like they emphasize her breasts enough?
This is all a little too dominatrix-y for me.
I think that's... Well, I don't think. That is the point.
Well, that was the entirety of her character, wasn't it?
Well, but the funny thing was, you couldn't really make out her proportions on the original PS1 because she was, you know, made of Legos. But
I do remember that.
But here, they very clearly settled into the... Yeah, she's just a professional dominatrix that for some reason they're letting be in charge of city planning.
Are you suggesting that the Japanese sexualize women too much?
That can't be.
I'd love to, but...
Why are you such a racist?
Well, why isn't this guy making eye contact with anyone?
I'm not even going there.
It's fun.
It's also amazing the amount of people who are just kind of standing talking, but no one's around.
Right.
All the way up there?
Oh, by the way, Aerith helps out at an orphanage in this one. Don't ask why.
Wait, what?
I don't know. They needed to add 20 hours to this part of the game, Nick.
No, what did you say? Because I heard you say she burns down an orphanage.
Oh, that would be even better. No, she helps out in an orphanage.
Oh, okay. Well, because they can't leave anything to chance. They have to beat you in the face with how good a person she is.
Well, and they also end up idolizing Cloud because he does all these side quests for them, which I'm not going to do. So they're not going to like me half as much, I'm guessing.
This is like a weird universe where everyone likes Cloud, even though he's the most unlikable man in the world.
I know, right?
I don't get it. This is like someone's weird fan fiction. Or
yeah, I know.
self-insert.
It's like, well, the player's gonna be Cloud, so we've got to make Cloud just the most Cloud can be.
The church again? Next time, we should all go together.
And here's the orphanage. The totally necessary orphanage.
Why, hello, Aerith. As popular as ever, I see.
Apparently.
Hi, Dr. Good and Sexy. Oh, wait.
I'm a doctor, but you're clearly in charge,
Better than
lady.
being bedridden.
So once again, I would like to highlight, why is Cloud like 7 feet tall?
No problem. Anytime.
And yet he looks so short, that's the thing, but yet he's taller than everybody.
I know. It's almost like every NPC in this game was added as a complete and total afterthought.
And you're
Well,
sure
I
he's
mean,
up to it?
like I said, he can't be your self-insert if he's not perfect in every way.
Right.
Since I'm
But
so
then in the
jealous,
cutscene,
I
Sephiroth is noticeably taller than Cloud, which must make him about, like, Shaquille O'Neal size or greater.
It's gonna be like one of those optical illusions where it's like he looks 7 feet tall, but he's not really. He's like Seth Rogen size. He's like 5'6".
Sorry to make you
He's
come
wearing
out.
lifts. George Costanza lifts.
Well, then,
5'6", 5'8", 5'7".
No problem. How many?
All you can carry. What with all the doom and gloom we've been hearing on the news recently, I thought some flowers might help cheer everyone up.
This
I'm
is
sure
how
they
I
will,
emote.
And I'd love to help.
This is how you know that I'm breezy. So breezy. Carefreezy. Look at Cloud here.
Yeah, I mean the flower business is good, but they do
Knock it
most of their
over.
sales online.
Right? I mean, I appreciate them putting the physics in the game, but
They're all the same to me.
like when you enter a room full of chairs and tables and
You sure
Cloud
you
just
wanna say
like
that to a
walks through
florist?
them like a bull in a china shop,
Okay.
It's
So
funny.
What'd you do with the flower I gave you?
I,
A
give
lot
it
of
away?
bike racks.
I did.
Oh, these ones aren't interactable.
To who? Tell me.
Don't recall.
Hmm.
He's lying to you, Aerith.
What?
God, one of these
Thought you
voice
didn't
actors
like
is working
lying.
hard. One
The
of
other
them is
one's not
phoning
so
it
much.
in. I leave you to decide which is which.
Yeah, no, I don't know anything about the girl who plays Aerith, but I wish her all the success. Cause,
Yeah, like I said, this is like her first role she did.
yeah, that's really
My house
impressive
is
that
just
she
up this path.
not only landed a
Most should
role
be home
this
by now.
kind of
So I'll
big on
introduce
her
you.
first try, but then knocked it out of the park and made me actually care for her. That's
Well,
done.
it's like the gal who played Sypha from Castlevania. She
Yeah,
had
oh,
also
man.
done like 2 roles,
There
and
you
they were
go.
both Disney
That's my house.
cartoons.
Oh, I didn't know that. Did you watch season 4 yet?
Haven't had the time.
Okay, I won't say anything still.
I'm going to, but I want like something else to watch so that I can get the most out of my free trial.
Yeah. Did you see that they just came out with an animated Vesemir from The Witcher origin story?
I'm home.
Yeah, didn't they
Hey,
literally call it
baby.
an anime, though it's made
Been up to no
stateside?
good?
Yeah, I mean, who cares? I haven't watched it yet,
is
but
it
I
like-
will because I like Vesemir.
So,
Is that
this is my mom. I'm
Curse of the
Myra.
Wolf?
Yes.
And this
Okay,
is Cloud,
yeah.
Yep.
my bodyguard.
No, I was confused because it came up
Right.
in my scroll like, check out the
Take
new
good
Witcher
care of her?
anime. I'm like, that's a weird thing to
That's my
see.
job.
Why are you telling me this?
Oh, you mean
Or
it's
was
just
my job.
animated. Okay,
Yep.
there's a difference.
Thanks. So, Cloud, you gonna head back to Sector 7?
While you watch it, you can enjoy this Scotch whiskey
Then I'll show you
brewed
the
in
way.
Texas.
Then why'd you have me bring you here? What if the Turks show up again?
It'd suck, but I've dealt with them before.
I was gonna say that
Honestly,
the Turks are meant
I'm
to be
much
like
more
this
worried about
shady
you.
mafia-like organization
get
working
lost,
for
huh?
Shinra. They're like the
You'd
lowest
be
threat
too embarrassed
assholes.
to admit it, and so you just keep on going.
Quit acting
You're
like
you're
you know
either
me.
the enforcers or you're
I'm gonna
not.
go take Cloud
Yeah,
over to
right.
Sector 7,
I mean, they're
okay?
great at like showing up just in time to kill
Wouldn't worry about
nobodies
waiting
off
till
screen,
tomorrow.
but every
If you
time
head
you
out
encounter
now,
them,
it'll
they're
be dark
completely
when you get
incompetent.
back. Better to rest up here and make the trip first thing in the morning. When you'll
There's
have
something
daylight
off-putting
to
about her
spare.
eyes, or is it just me?
That's true.
They didn't try.
She's got a point, Cloud.
No, I think they tried a little
Hold up.
too hard,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it just kind of looks
I
like she
still
doesn't
need
need to
deliver
blink.
some flowers to the Leaf
Like there's some
House.
kind of like secret
Since we have a
reptile
little time
underneath that
before dinner.
flesh mask she's wearing.
You should come with.
I'm assuming Aerith is
That wasn't the
adopted.
deal.
You
Yeah,
really
that
want
was a
more?
major plot point from the original
Even though
game.
You've got a
I
priceless reward
played it
coming your
once.
way?
Oh, okay.
Do
Yeah,
you
so
I just thought it'd
Aerith
be
is
fun-
clearly
I just-
adopted.
I'll do it.
I just thought it would be funny. Well, yeah, because they look so
I'll go
different.
grab the basket.
I just thought it'd be
Right
funny
back.
if like that was really her biological mother, and she's also one of the ancients, but we just never talk about it.
Yeah, she just doesn't get the same attention as her daughter.
She's a
Right. So I
hunter,
mean,
isn't
it's like her, Aerith, and Sephiroth, and like no
must be
one
tough.
says anything
she?
about her.
Good.
She just lives out her life.
Right. Yeah, I think they were going for like firm but fair mother figure. What they ended up with was Xylon Robot from Sector 7 or something.
Yeah, yeah. From
It's not a good look.
well, like I said, they're not going to try on a non-main cast character.
Well, but that's the thing though. A lot of the like non-player characters that are big enough to get like speaking parts, they at least go through the trouble to animate well. This lady freaks me out to the very pit of my stomach. Oh my god!
Okay,
We need more bloom. There we go.
I thought something cool was going to happen, like you were like walking into a dream or something.
Nope. It's just that was just $2.7 million worth of bloom that they spent on this
Gotta-
one effect.
Cut back on reading Gene Wolfe, I guess.
What are you reading these days, Nick?
Gene Wolfe.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
Shadow of the
Take this one.
Torturer.
Shadow of the
it's
Torturer. Okay.
A wonderful, wonderful series.
You've mentioned it once or twice, yeah.
I just finished it.
Oh, cool.
Wish I hadn't read the final book, which was more of a coda to the series, but it has this wonderful dreamy aspect where you can't tell what is reality and what's
And these
not,
right
but you're
here
having
are
such
my
a good time, you
babies.
just don't care.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
have to check
and
that
it was
out.
like written in 1980. Like it's old.
So
Like, some people
that's like
thought,
you
like,
and me
uh,
old.
Well, it's like some people thought, oh, Witcher, yeah, there's an older series.
Hmm. Which
Yeah,
ones do you think we
try
should
reading
pick?
this.
Right.
No,
Oh,
it's
don't be
it's
like
it's
that.
wonderful. It's
know you have an eye for
it
this kind of
subverts
thing.
so many expectations of the
That's That's the one I
Oh, I
gave
can't
you.
even tell you what genre it is because that's part
Nice
of the
try,
kicker
mister.
too.
Okay.
Can't fool me.
He does this really cool stuff with language where you can't tell when he's making something up or when he's using like old
think we
antiquated
still need a
words
few
or like
more.
Roman terminology like
Which should we pick
lictor or
next?
something.
Uh-huh.
And it's all incredibly intentional because the book you pick
Oh,
up is not
that
actually the
stinks,
book you're
huh?
reading.
I
Now,
gotta hand it
Oh,
to you.
I'll
I never
just
would've
say
thought of
that. It's
Huh.
It'll definitely take them
it
by
is a Metal
surprise.
Gear Solid-esque or Metal Gear Solid 2-esque fake out.
Oh,
She
wow.
said,
Interesting.
As many as you can
Yeah,
carry,
you could
so
not
maybe a
pull
few
this
more?
off today.
Good eye. People used to give these
I
to
may have to
declare
actually
their
check that out.
loyalty.
I just finished.
Interesting, right?
I don't know why I did this to myself, but I finally read Stephen King's The Stand.
I think we're good.
Which-
Ooh, boy, you're
What do
just
you
you're
say?
just on a
Shall we
Stephen
go?
King
I
kick.
am, and I figured the best way to break me of that would be to read what is even by fans of the series, even by fans of the Stephen King universe, admitted to be just like a 40-hour self-gratification project on King's part.
We're not under the gun or
Really?
anything.
I thought
not
this
cut
was
out
his
for
like
this crap.
masterpiece.
It is. It's his magnum opus, but
When you're done,
like
drown
he
in job offers.
regularly in interviews talks about how bloated it is, and it
Mhm.
certainly is. It was what I came away with was this was a fine and well written book and a decent story, but you know, 1,600 pages
So, how do
in.
you think they'll arrange these flowers?
I was thinking I kind of
Well, we'll soon find
wanted
out.
it to feel more like a magnum opus than it did. Does that make sense? Like it was good, but
Mhm.
when something is that hefty, good starts to wear thin by the end.
Well, yeah, I mean, you will eventually get full eating filet mignon and push the plate away from you
Right,
and be like, yeah, okay, I'm done.
right. But then they're like, oh, we hope you're ready for 7 more courses. And
Right,
that was
right,
the
right.
stand for me. Like I said, overall, I enjoyed it. And in fact, there were parts of it where it was like absolutely riveting. But then there would be, 10 hours in between of not as interesting parts before it got really interesting again. And that cycle
wait out here.
just repeated itself throughout the entire
okay.
book. To the point where, like, when it was
But I
finally
like these
over,
now. Why not
that
check
was
out the
my
town?
main thought. It's finally over.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you read Stephen King's It?
Yes, and that was the exact opposite. I was sucked in from page 1 to page 1500.
I would say that book was probably even longer, but you're right. That's what I was thinking. And that
No, the stand was
that
definitely
re-
longer, but
Did you know?
Yeah,
but not by much.
Is it- Well, it really didn't have any
I just know.
places where it slowed down, and I was like mentally, all right.
No,
let's
it
just
didn't.
flip through here.
Yeah.
I
It
remember you.
kept
Where's
you
Eric?
it kept you pretty engaged the entire time. No, I know what you're talking about because, like I had said with like book 5 of the Shadow of the Torturer series, like that unfortunately is the feeling of the entirety of book 5,
Yeah.
where it's like. This is good, but it's like it's self-aggrandizing. I
Yeah.
know exactly what you're talking about.
And so the way I would
Is something
ultimately
wrong?
compare
You could
it
say
with the
that.
stand
Sounds like
is,
someone spooked the kids.
it just
Yeah,
like you described,
two of them
it keeps you
disappeared.
engaged.
They
You
ran
have
away
like
after this
the
creepy guy
the
with black
constant
clothes
jumping
showed up.
back and forth
hurt.
in
That's
time.
what I thought.
So
But
there's
no.
like things that are set
This
up, and
guy
you
who's
really
always
want
stumbling
to
around
see
town
how
with a dirty
they
robe full of
come
holes.
together.
They say
Um,
he's
like
sick
you
or
want to know
something.
why
Oh,
things
and he
in
had some kind
the
of number tattooed on
1980s
his arm.
are because
I
of
don't
what
like the sound
happened in the
of this.
50s.
I'm gonna check it
Um,
someone
whereas
who fits that
in
description.
the stand,
Hey.
the approach to that is
Come on.
here is a very clearly telegraphed plot point. And now, even though we've told you what's going to happen, or we've strongly hinted at what's going to happen, you're still going to spend the next 17 chapters while we drag out the explanation. Which, again, I'm making it sound worse than it is, but it was just one of those things where, again, like after 40 hours of engaging with this story, I almost felt like I was entitled to more than I got.
No, I know. I completely understand what you're saying. There's
Yeah.
just
I look forward to
only so much buildup you can do before you're like, okay, all right, I get it. This is gonna happen, so let's have
And you know,
this
maybe
happen.
that's it.
Spend
Yeah, it
4
was
hours.
maybe 38 hours of build up and then 2 hours of, you know, payoff right at the end. And I guess, well, so like even like the final confrontation, if you can call it that, there is a final confrontation. And then the book proceeds to go on for about 6 more hours after that for like the return home journey. But the final confrontation is like so
underwhelming.
No, it makes no. It's kind of nebulous. Like you're not really even clear on what's going on.
So
Like I actually had to look up a wiki to explain it a little bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking
And I'm not a slow reader. You know, I'm my comprehension is pretty decent, I would think, after 34 years. I was just like, what the hell just happened?
You do have to consider the amount of cocaine that King was on at that particular time, so
you are not wrong.
Might not be you.
I mean,
Where do you think
I don't know.
they went?
Like, are you kind of aware of how that goes down?
I mean, I know the basic plot beats of super virus,
Yes.
and then becomes The Walking Dead, where society rises from the ashes.
Correct.
Randall Flagg is probably Satan.
Yeah, Randall. They're very
Something
clear
about a
about that. He's
nuclear
not
bomb
Satan.
going
He's
off.
like buddies with Satan or something. But
Well, I mean, he's pretty intent on getting people to kneel to him.
right,
so.
yeah, and you're right. It is very thinly veiled Christianity.
Yes, I gotta.
But anyways, are you aware with like how the conflict with Flag gets resolved?
Doesn't a nuclear weapon go off or something?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing though. So the nuclear weapon goes
But
off.
he lives anyways?
But it's like the hand of God that detonates it.
Yes.
It's not quite clear why, or if it's really the hand of God, or if it's an accident. And then
I remember
Flag,
watching this on TV, and
Yes.
I'm like, even as a 7-year-old kid, I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, and it's like literally, I almost feel like literally King wrote himself into a corner where it's like, well, no one's there to save him, so I guess maybe it's the hand of God.
It really kind of undercuts the journey of your main characters when
Well,
God
yeah,
just
because
steps
like
in,
the whole
right?
point was them wrestling with God and trying to divine what it is that they're supposed to be doing in this, post-apocalyptic world. But then the solution at the very end was, just show up and I guess it'll just kind of work out for no real reason at all. And then the part that made me look up the wiki was like it's really unclear what happens to Flag. So like I had to look it up. I'm like, did he die in that blast? And then if I had been more patient, 6 hours later, he shows up in the epilogue for 5 seconds. But so the villain doesn't even die. But
you can't kill true evil if he is Satan,
I guess, but then they don't really address that either. It's I don't know. It's strange. Like I said, there's the book is at its strongest when the characters are on the road, like traveling from point A to point B, and like dealing with all of their I just got blowed up. When they're like just kind of dealing with the fact that their lives as they knew them are no more, and how to like adapt and live in an entirely different world. And when King sticks to that, it's actually really, really compelling stuff, because you get like an insight to these characters, and they're not all good people, but they just kind of like rise to the occasion, which always makes for a good narrative in my book.
That's kind of something I've noticed about King novels, is that he usually starts the novel with a couple really good ideas or like a set piece that he's building up to.
Yeah.
And then he just kind of fluffs things until they get to that point.
Yes.
Which is fine.
But I kind of also get the feeling in this one that he didn't have a clear idea of where he wanted the story to end. And so after everything that happens, it just kind of ends.
At least he had the good grace to end it, unlike George R.R. Martin, who just kind of, wussed out and never finished his series.
I'm gonna end it one of these days. Trust me.
Because he's clearly written himself into a corner. But, he doesn't want to admit it, but
at least he learned.
Fine.
At least he learned from the TV show how he shouldn't end it, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
He knows better than that. I hope. But yeah. So, anyways, the Stand, probably one of the better 6 out of 10 books I've ever read. but you know, still a 6 out of 10.
That reminds me of, strangely enough, it reminds me of how Gene Wolfe's Shadow of the Torturer series ends, where I think there's a literal conversation along the lines of, oh no, this isn't going to be a Deus Machina kind of thing, is it?
You bet it is.
Well, yes, but it'll be quick, so it'll be over soon, don't worry.
Right.
We'll make it painless. I think that's like a literal character quote.
Nice. But yeah, I'm fully aware that there are people who would, like, beat me into the ground for taking that stance on the stand, but...
Well, those people are idiots, so I mean, come on, Chris, we're in our 30s. We don't have time to argue with morons anymore. You know? It's like, Jesus Christ, it's a fucking novel written for money. It's not a religious text.
Some people would beg to differ, I'm sure. But like, overall...
Those people
like,
are idiots.
Yeah.
So, you know...
But like overall, it's kind of like what I was saying about games a while ago when we were talking about them. You know, there's nothing wrong with enjoying a title that's a firm 6 out of 10. You know, if you find something to be engaged with and enjoy it, go for it. But don't build it up into like... People had talked about The Stand so much that I went into it thinking, okay, this is going to be the book. You know, the quintessential experience of literature in my life, and then after this is done, every book I read from here is just going to be downhill. Very much not the case.
You've read most of the body of works by Stephen King, and you thought this particular book was going to be a masterpiece.
Well, but no, for real though, that's what people described. I wouldn't even call it a masterpiece. I would call it fine but inflated pulp fiction.
That's what I'm kind of afraid is going to happen with people who go to see the Dune movie, is like it's been so hyped for everyone as the like cinematic equivalent of this masterpiece of a book no one has ever read.
Right.
And they're going to walk away like, just ends on a cliffhanger.
You know, I'm really glad that you did encourage me to read the book, though, because whether the movie is brilliant or just okay, I still have the story down, and I won't be disappointed by the movie, and so encouraged not to read the book.
Yeah, it's such a great book though, and one of some of the best things about the book is everything that's like kind of internal. And like fair. For me personally, I thought my favorite part in the first half of the book was the dinner that they're at, and like everyone's got their own little things that they're doing.
Oh yes, that was the part of the book where Lady Jessica became my favorite character.
Yeah. I mean, and just like the way her and her son are playing off each other, and she's trying to protect him, but he's decided he's going to take the lead, and those were great moments.
Yes,
very boring cinematically.
Hey, by the way, did you see the new teaser they just let out for Dune?
Oh, I didn't know if he was real or not.
Yeah, no, he's real. He's just they're just looking for an excuse to get Sephiroth on the camera again.
Oh no, that's right.
But yeah, so Dune, they just released like a little snippet showing one of the scenes where Paul is learning to fight from Duncan.
I don't think I did, but I wanted to watch. I'm just gonna ignore this.
I know.
No, I'm gonna. I watched the first trailer.
Yeah, sorry, go.
I watched the first trailer just to get a flavor for like, is this movie gonna be any good or not? And I was pleased with it, and I've kind of like, if it's right blatantly in front of me, I'll watch it, but I don't want to seek it out because I want to go in pretty fresh.
Oh, this one is far less about developing any kind of plot and more just showing off the... Actually, no, I don't think it's... Because wait, Duncan Idaho is played by Aquaman, right?
Yes, Jason Momoa.
And then Josh Brolin plays Gurney. This is Paul and Gurney.
Right.
Yes.
And so it's a fight scene between those two, a training scene between those two, and it's meant to show off kind of some of the special effects and the action choreography, which if it's any indication, the action scenes that we have to look forward to in that movie should be pretty good. What I like is the way that they they did the effect of the shield apparatus, because you know, like, I had a very clear way that I pictured it when it was described in the book, like this kind of force field thing that you have to like dance your dagger in between in order to get your opponent, and they actually represent it really well, I think.
I might actually pull that up.
It's cool. You're not going to ruin anything at all for yourself. It's just a cool way of them visualizing what I thought was kind of a neat sci-fi toy.
I have this problem with trailers in general, which is they tend to show you all the good stuff in the movie, and then you see the movie, and it's like, well, I already saw all the good stuff. So, like, as a general rule, I try not to watch them. But no, I mean, it's not like I'm not going to go out and get 7 tickets to see this movie.
Right, yeah.
So,
I know, this part's only like 50 seconds long, so, again, it's pretty low stakes. You're not going to ruin anything for yourself. And like I said, I like the way that they did the force field shields.
Everything that I've read preliminary-ish, as far as, I guess, early reviews, is apparently it's reviewing pretty well. So, you know...
It deserves to, for all the shit that it had to go through to get released.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good lord, this movie has been ready for a year and a half, and somehow it has not leaked.
Yeah, by the time that they released the second one, Timothy, what's his name, Chalamet, whatever?
Shallot?
Yeah, he's not going to look young enough to play Paul anymore, so they got this better be a success, and they better hurry up with the sequel.
Have they already filmed the second movie?
Oh, have they?
I think.
He's
I'm
my
not sure.
Oh, that'd be interesting. Kind of an Infinity War Endgame scenario where they knew the first one was going to be big enough to warrant a second.
Well, I mean, they knew they were going to break it up into 2, so I think I had read that they just filmed everything. I mean, most of it's going to be
that's all.
Adding in the special effects and the editing and all that.
Sure, yeah. All the post-production stuff.
Well, Rude actually has a personality this time around.
Yeah, he's improved.
Rude's not a bad person.
I don't know if I necessarily see the reason for this fight, other than they feel like they need more fights.
Sometimes have to do bad things.
But you're right. I do like Rude's character in this. More so than Reno, at least. He kind of at least feels like he should be part of a shady government organization.
Take it personal.
It feels like someone out of a Dwayne Johnson movie.
I was thinking
I feel
Pulp
like The
Fiction.
Rock should be fighting him. What?
I was thinking Pulp Fiction.
No.
Put him next to Samuel L. Jackson, and he'd be the deadpan white guy.
No, because this conversation doesn't go on for 30 minutes, and it's not about, like, cheeseburgers.
Oh, God.
Like, I feel like this is, like, one of the
Cloud is
thugs
so
that The Rock is gonna beat up.
Right?
Keep it together.
Here goes.
I'm just gonna play as Ares with this part since he...
Why don't you lead the way?
Okay, never mind. She's going to sleep. Why'd you do that, Cloud? See Cloud just like swing in the exact opposite direction.
Okay.
So, you had enough yet?
I love that he has a backup pair of sunglasses.
I didn't see him take the first one off, so I thought for half a second he put them on top of his other glasses.
It's my job.
Come on, do it.
Changing careers.
There we go.
This is the blackest sounding white guy I've ever seen.
Right?
It's like they didn't quite want to go there.
Of all the changes they could have made, they could have just made him black. I don't think anyone would have been offended.
Oh,
like, God forbid a JRPG gets a second black character.
You underestimate the community. You saw people lose their shit with the Witcher Netflix series.
How's that payback working out for you?
Guess I better cure.
Better than expected.
So it's my turn?
So it's my turn? Yes, just finish the damn fight.
Can you take over, Thunder?
Oh, that had to hurt. He just took a Blizzaga point blank into his face.
Hey, Rude defeated.
You know I can't do that.
I kind of like his tie. Like, I would wear that.
Remember when they did that in Advent Children?
Yep, and now it's everyone's ringtone.
That wasn't in finger quotes. It's literal. Okay.
Yep.
So get your ass back here now.
Understood.
Have you ever tried to maintain a
Got
beard
somewhere
like that,
else to
like
be?
the pencil thin trimmings?
Apparently.
I'm really working hard to maintain my current beard, and it ain't working out so well.
Every time I try to do it, it never. Maybe I just don't have the necessary grooming tools or the right amount of patience.
You know
But
I
like, it's
can't
always
do
just a little
that.
bit off, and it looks ridiculous. So I end up shaving the whole thing.
Just like being chosen as the hero of a JRPG, I mean, it's either you got it or you don't.
Yeah, right. Either your hair just naturally this brilliant, or you're out of luck. Well, Nick, we just skipped about 4 hours worth of side quests, so next time on Play the Hits, we should
fine
be
with that.
progressing towards Wall Market.
We're taking out all the carrots and peas out of the stew and just eating the potatoes and the meat. I am fine with that.
I'm glad, because that's the way it's going to keep going. Next time we come to what I consider to be the best part of the game, so that'll be exciting.
Oh, what is that?
Wall Market.
Walmart.
Walmart. Yep, we're going to Walmart.
Walmart?
We're going shopping for some contraceptives and a new gun. We're going to Walmart, baby.
Well, we're clearly not in Texas anymore, that's for sure.
We will see you next time, my friend.